Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Jerez. And as you can see, Rossi has started from the pole position. Looks like he has got a really good start. And it's Alex Rins has run wide, and it's Rossi, Dovi, and behind them it's Quartararo. I think yes, it's Quartararo. Dovi takes an inside move, but Rossi cuts back, and Rossi is now leading the race, as you can see. And behind it's Andre Dovizioso. Dovi was struggling in the beginning of the couple of races and looks like he's got a really good start and a head start, as you can see. Dovi tries to chase down Rossi and tries to close the gap as soon as possible. And Dovi knows that Rossi is having a really good pace at this particular track and he cannot let him escape. Rossi tries to brake late as much as possible, and he had a bit of a stoppy there, and looks like Rossi's in a good form. And behind Quartararo, it was Mark Marcus. Yes, it was Mark Marcus. Then behind him, it's Petrucci, and then Jack Miller. As you can see, the factory Yamaha rider Maverick Vinales looks like he's still struggling on his motorcycle with the full fuel tank, and he's not able to be more nimble at this point of time. And Alex Marcus, the younger brother of Mark Marcus, is also not bad in his positions. He's in the top 10 currently, and there is a chance that he might climb up to a top 6 finish, as he was in a good pace in the qualifying and also in the free practice sessions. Rossi doing a pretty good job. Dovi still in second place, and behind it's Fabio Quartararo, and Quartararo looks like he's a really good position. He is capable of fighting for the victory. Now he is in the third position and looks like he has the pace to overtake Dovi. Rossi tries his best to escape from the rest of the riders, and Mark Marcus is also trying to chase down Fabio Quartararo, and this is one of the tracks which was well suited for the ex-Motogp rider Danny Pedrosa. What a great talent he was, and this was one of his favorite tracks, and yes, won multiple times in this particular track. And Mark Marcus tries his best to close the gap on the bunch of riders ahead of him, and behind Mark Marcus is Petrucci, who's ahead of Jack Miller, and both of them doing a great job. Petrucci knows that he needs to finish better than Jack Miller in every race so that he can lead the championship ahead of Jack Miller for a better future in next season and the coming seasons as well. Fabio Quartararo doing a pretty good job right now, trying to close the gap on Dovi. Rossi tries every better lines possible. Rossi takes a different wide line. Rossi had a bit of a moment there. Rossi was sliding the rear wheel. Dovi looks like he's struggling with the rear grip multiple times. He has been struggling with the same issues in the previous races as well. We have seen that multiple times. Dovi always struggles with the rear grip. Rossi getting a really good drive out of the corner, and Rossi almost had a stoppy there. Rossi ran wide. And now Dovi made a pass on him, but Rossi cuts back. What a great move by Rossi. Rossi took the wide line, got a really good exit. Dovi might be surprised with the move of Rossi. Rossi was almost going to crash, but he just cut back the corner, and he's now leading the race once again. And Dovi tries everything to close the gap on Rossi once again. As you can see, Rossi cuts, like square cuts the corner, drifts the motorcycle, tries to lift the bike up. As you can see, Rossi's riding style has changed considerably compared to the previous years. He's riding like those Spaniards and the young riders out there, and that looks like that is a positive thing for Rossi as well. He's trying to adapt even at this age. He's 41 years old right now, and he's riding like a 20-year-old. Mark Marcus still trying to figure out how to close the gap on Fabio Quartararo, and doing a pretty good job, as we can see right now. And behind Mark Marcus is still Petrucci, and Petrucci also trying to close the gap on Mark Marcus. Dovi pretty much consistent till now, and I hope that Dovi doesn't make any kind of mistake or doesn't crash. And he was not consistent throughout the season. Expected a lot from Dovi in this particular season, and they had worked a lot on the motorcycle, but looks like Dovi was not able to be consistent on the motorcycle till this particular point of time. And Petrucci doing a great job and doing a big favor for the Ducati team to close the gap on Honda in the Constructors' Championship. It's really important for these riders to stay as consistent as possible. In today's MotoGP, it's really important to finish every race, and you never know who's going to make a mistake and just throw away the points they have earned. So it's really important to stay as consistent as possible, and also look for the best time to make an overtake and build pressure on the rider who's ahead of you. And Rossi exactly knows there is a chance that he might be facing a lot of pressure in the coming laps, so he's trying to escape from the riders right now at this beginning laps, and looks like he's exactly doing the same, and he knows that all the riders behind him are not rookies. They are potential world champions, and they have the capability to beat him. And Rossi doing a pretty good job here. Dovi not letting any opportunities, not creating any opportunity for Fabio Quartararo, and Dovi doing a pretty wonderful job right now. And Marc Marquez still defending his fourth position, and Marc Marquez had a moment there, he almost lost the rear, but it's Marc Marquez. He's the cat, he knows how to land on 4 feet, so he's pretty good at that. So crash is not a big deal for Marc Marquez, he can save most of them. And look at the clean lines taken by the Repsol Honda rider, and compared to Dovi, looks like Marc Marquez is a bit more smoother, unlike his riding style. Marc Marquez trying to keep the patience, and he knows that there is a chance that the rest of the riders ahead of him might drop the tires, and so Marc Marquez right now is worried about the tire life, it looks like that. And Petrucci, as you can see, was giving his best to close the gap on Marquez, but Marc Marquez won't be making it look easy for Petrucci, and Petrucci is still now ahead of Jack Miller, the Australian rider who's riding the Pramac Ducati. Petrucci knows that he needs to find a really good result, and obviously better than Jack Miller, so that he can gain that red hot seat of factory Ducati next year as well in 2021. Jack Miller is also not going to give up, he's trying his level best, and behind Jack Miller it's Carl Crutchlow, who's always trying to be in the top 6, and he finished in the podium a couple of times, and it looks like he is also looking for a top 6 position even now as well. And not a bad race for the British rider. And behind Jack Miller it's the Petronas Yamaha rider Franco Morbidelli, looking for a top 10 finish. And Franco has been consistent throughout the season, and looks like there's a lot ahead of this young Italian's career. And behind the Petronas Yamaha rider it's the factory Yamaha rider Maverick Vinales. Is still struggling on his factory Yamaha. This season is looking like a nightmare for this youngster. He's not able to finish in the podiums consistently, which is a shame for him and also for the team Yamaha. As you can see, a disaster for the young Spaniard. Rossi still leads the race and brakes as hard as possible. Rossi almost ran wide, and Dovi tries to make use of that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final lap, let me remind you that. And Fabio had made a contact with Dovi, as you can see, and Dovi is not going to give up this position, and he knows that he needs to do everything side by side, Fabio Quartararo and Andrea Dovizioso. Rossi knows they are closing down on him, and Rossi almost ran a bit wide. As you can see, Rossi and Quartararo had made a contact, and Dovi has crashed. Ladies and gentlemen. Rossi was not really happy with the move of Fabio Quartararo. What a disaster. Rossi pretty much angry, as you saw the reaction of Rossi when Quartararo made that move. That was an aggressive move from Quartararo. He just came to the inside of Rossi and just pushed him wide. Rossi was not expecting it. That was a bit of a crazy move, similar to what he experienced from Zarco before a couple of seasons. Dovi, another crash for Dovi. What a disaster for Ducati. These multiple crashes for Dovi is really going to affect his pace throughout the season, and looks like the rider is losing some kind of confidence on his motorcycle. He was expecting something bigger. Quartararo has made a pass on Rossi. He will have one final chance to make a move on Quartararo, and Rossi will definitely make a move. Rossi takes the inside line, pushes Quartararo wide. One more chance for the rider, Petronas Yamaha rider, to win the race is being lost. Rossi takes the first position, ladies and gentlemen. What a brilliant race from Rossi.
Soon, cameras drivers will take us to the podium to see the award ceremony. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the final ranking of the Motogp class.
Valentino Rossi now wins the race, and behind him it's Fabio Quartararo, then Marc Marquez. Quartararo almost had a look at the inside of Rossi, and he was expecting a victory here as he saw Rossi struggling, but unfortunately this was not his day once again. It was Rossi who outperformed the Petronas Yamaha rider. Wonderful race from Valentino.
Race, and now he and his mechanics are rightly going to party.